Hotel Reverie is the third episode in Season 7 of Black Mirror, and this is an episode that I was quite literally blown away by. The complex around what defines a life and if artificial life could hold value was something that was explored through the medium of Redream in this episode, and I feel like this one gave off a similar experience and feeling to what we had in Season 3 Episode 4's San Junipero. With an ending that was melancholic and haunting, but also inspiring and filled with love, I didn't expect to depart this episode feeling the way that I did. With tons of Easter eggs planted within it as well, let's dive into it and break down all that there was to take away from it. Here is a review of Black Mirror Season 7 Hotel Reverie and the ending explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The deeper meaning of the episode. Within this episode, I feel like there were two key takeaways. One was around the impact that artificial intelligence is having on the movie industry and the technology that often gets incorporated, especially around the actors that are no longer with us. And it was also about the value of life, what defines it, and if artificial life can hold value. Let's first start by exploring the second topic. Brandy Friday was an actress that was a bit fed up with the situation that she was in her life. She was looking for a different direction within her career and she wanted a leading role. And then, within her personal life, she was looking for change too. This is where Redream came into the equation, where they were able to put her inside of the set of a movie from the 1940s that was filled with AI versions of the characters, and then from there, with the use of the mesmerizer, she would act out the movie as if it were some kind of play. It was a piece of tech that was designed to make studios not need to pay as much for an actor's time, as they'd only need them for the runtime of the movie. Brandy was playing her role of the character Alex, but the moment that it went wrong, she called the character Clara by her actor's name, Dorothy. That was something that created echoes amongst the AI version of the character, and because the character had a lot of the actress Dorothy's life experiences embedded within it because she utilized the pain in her life to be able to make her performances stronger, it ultimately resonated with the AI and impacted the way that she functioned in the artificial world. With coffee also then spilling on the computer and it essentially trapping Brandy there for several months because time moved extremely quickly inside of it compared to the real world. We saw that she developed feelings and a relationship with Clara. This was something that she probably never thought would happen because when things first started going wrong, she referred to Clara as not real, and she also mentioned how the world itself wasn't real as well, showing that she didn't view Clara as a person. Clara was obviously confused about what was going on, why people were frozen, and why it was that she was being told that she wasn't real. However, with her saying that she was as real as what Brandy was, it posed that very question, because technically she was speaking and thinking for herself in that moment. We even saw that once Clara stepped outside the parameters of the set, she saw the life of the actual Dorothy, and that she was hiding how she truly felt about a woman at the time, and that she ended up being driven to the point of ending things for herself. Brandy said at the start how she was done with playing characters that were getting wooed in movies, but she actually did end up getting wooed by Clara, something that was artificial. She loved Clara, and Clara loved her, showing that they exhibited emotions towards one another. Something that makes you question even more about if Clara could be considered real, as she's thinking and feeling for herself. What was profound was that when the computer got back up and running and Clara's mind was essentially reset, essentially erasing months worth of memories and all of the feelings that she had for Brandy, it made Brandy question if she wanted to even leave the simulation herself and stay there forever with Clara and not say the trigger word, "I'll be yours forevermore." What Brandy experienced in an artificial world were feelings and emotions that she never got to experience in the real world. She loved and cared for somebody that didn't even exist in reality because she was all noughts and ones and based on somebody from many, many years ago that was dead now. So where does that draw the line on something being real or not? Brandy was a tangible being in this world, and the emotions that she brought back with her from the artificial world were extremely real for her because she went through everything that she experienced. They even shaped how she felt when she returned. However, the person that she interacted with wasn't. Or was it? Because in the artificial world it existed and it made an impact on Brandy. It's a question that will continue to go round and round in my head, and it's gonna bother me, because surely if you can feel the way Brandy felt, that means the value of the life that she was facing deserved to be respected. We saw when Clara's memories were wiped, Brandy didn't want that to happen because she knew that Clara loved her. But I suppose what could show that the life wasn't real was that all of those memories could be taken at the press of a button. So it's an episode that really does leave you with a thought-provoking question around the value of artificial life. The ending with Brandy getting the phone and being able to speak to the video that she previously watched and was now able to interact with was something that actually made me well up a little bit. Brandy got to speak with Dorothy, not Clara, and because they didn't seem that different, it went to show just how much of Dorothy was ingrained within the character that she played. Whilst it seemed to provide Brandy some comfort, it's definitely a tool that's dangerous, as she could end up living partially in this artificial world talking to somebody that isn't actually real. Or are they? It was a San Junipero-esque ending because even though it was dark, there was a glimmer of hope that was there at the end. Another talking point that I feel this episode wanted to start was around the use of technology in the film and TV industry. For a few years now, we've seen AI and CGI being used on resurrecting actors from the dead for roles that they previously played so they could be featured in new movies. Something that is questionable because is it okay from a moral standpoint and should it even be done? I don't think there's ever really been a successful example of it, but this was almost like an exaggerated version of that. And if it were to get to that point where entire movies could be built and resurrected through the use of AI, where does that leave the industry? Plus, with actors only needing to give up a fraction of their time, it shows that it would also be pretty damaging for them too. My review of the episode. This episode really did surprise me. I didn't think I'd leave this episode feeling how I did. With the runtime almost being an hour and a half, I was a bit fearful that it would be too long, but it wasn't in the slightest. It felt like a true original Black Mirror episode with a dark story at its core, and a real thought-provoking subject that I'm going to sit there and ponder about for the longest of times. In terms of the performances, I thought they were really strong. Emma Corrin as Dorothy and Clara, and Issa Rae as Brandy really held their own in this, and owned the entire episode. It was also good seeing Harriet Walter in it too, because I thought she was great in Silo. Emma Corrin really encapsulated the feel of an actress in a classic movie. The accent, the performance style, it was just so convincing. And then seeing Issa Rae in there, you really felt that lack of connection that she had to start with. But then also the love and the increase in connection that followed. It was a real pleasure to watch the both of them on screen together, because it was so emotional. Tension was something that was throughout this episode, from the scenes going off script to not knowing how long Brandy would be stuck, to then not even knowing if Brandy would decide to say the words to get her out of there and choose to stay in there forever. Choosing an artificial life over that of a real one. So I really felt that tension throughout the entirety of it. I thought the message and the thought-provoking subject was something that was well thought out, and it wasn't compromised in its execution at all. I feared that Brandy would stay in there and then the crew would panic because they wouldn't be able to get her out, but then I thought there would be a plot hole of them panicking when in reality they could have just reset the scene like they did when they first got the computer back. So I'm glad that wasn't an issue that would have needed to have been raised. When comparing this episode to the other two that came before it in Season 7, I think I definitely preferred it to Bête Noire, and it sits just behind Common People. So right now, it's second in the ranking. I think it has the potential to sit there until I watch Eulogy, which I keep saying I think is going to be my favourite, so I hope it doesn't disappoint. In terms of the Easter eggs that I managed to spot, there was a White Bear movie poster in the office, which is a nod to the Season 2 episode. There were a couple of thumbnails to videos that were talking about Space Fleet from USS Callister and Demon 79 from Season 6. The computer that Redream was running off was made by Tucker, which is at the heart of most tech in Black Mirror, and also Brandy lived on Junipero Drive. Overall, I'd say this was a quality episode, and it had that gut-punching feeling that I was looking for. I felt sad when I left the episode, and that's how all good Black Mirror episodes should leave you feeling. So, there you have it. A review of Black Mirror Season 7 Hotel Reverie and the ending explained. If you want to see every episode of Black Mirror ranked, then I've put the video down below. I'm also breaking down every episode of Black Mirror Season 7, so the playlist will be there too. What did you think of this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.